Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Hello, I'm Suzanne Roberts, I'm the CEO. And I just can't thank you all enough for coming today. I mean, I always get choked up when I hear Virginia speak about the wonderful things we do. I see tears in the audience. You'll probably hear my voice crack. I see Tom Capello with tears in his eyes. I don't know who cries more when we speak, Tom or myself. It's true. And then all of our beautiful volunteers. I do want to keep my remarks limited because I know everyone has places to go. But first of all, thank you so very much for taking your time to come share our mission and our beautiful building and to celebrate Virginia tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you. We have some individuals I'd like to recognize this evening. Congressman Tom Rooney is here. We are so glad that he could be here. He's a great supporter of our organization, a great supporter of free clinics, and he absolutely loves you, Virginia, from his heart to yours. I just wanted to say that. We have Representative Kim Roberson here tonight. Thank you so much, Representative Roberson, for coming. We have the mayor of Punta Gorda. We have Bill Albert here. I don't see him in the audience, but I know he's here. We have our county commissioners here, and not all could make it, but we have our Commissioner Chris Constance, Krista Duffy, Stephen R. Joyce that's here. And I think we have a few more commissioners that's here. Is anyone else here from Bob Starr? I think I saw you. Thank you so very much for coming. I certainly don't want to leave anyone out, but we have over 300 people here tonight, so forgive me if I do. We've been on the phone the last 2 months with our SVPs, so it's just been pretty phenomenal. Absolutely. This event would not be possible without two wonderful women in our organization, Noreen Chervinsky and Kara Durante. They are our co-chairs and light of our life. Where are they? And I promised Don Gilroy from Gilroy Associates I wouldn't bring people up because of time, but I had to bring these women up because they are phenomenal. You wouldn't be sitting in the tables and chairs or tents without these women. So, thank you for doing it, and let's go have our boss, Suzanne Roberts. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I also want to say thank you to the honorary committee. They're in your program. I will be brief. Please take time to look at your program and go over those individuals. Also our sponsors. We have many sponsors here this evening that have provided gift-in-kind services at no charge and half charge to be able to make this beautiful event happen for our organization and our community. We also want to thank more than anything our board of directors. We have them spread out. So board of directors, if you're here, thank you from the bottom of my heart. We love you very, very much. Also, we have previous board of directors here. I can't leave you out because really without you and being the steamship many, many years ago, we certainly wouldn't be here today. So thank you very much. And I really want to say to our beautiful volunteers, I want to take a moment and say thank you to those nurses and those physicians and to those individuals that don't have medical degrees but come in almost every day and every week and every month, give them their time, give it their family, and give it their money. We have a lot of volunteers that are donors, and without you, 220 strong, we would not be here, and I love you with all of my heart. And our donors that are here, our donors are here, and we just thank you so very much for sticking with us over the 4 years that our clinic's been up and running, and 12 years our pharmacy's been up and running. You have stuck with us, and we have some new donors here today, and we have some prospective donors in the audience that I know that's going to be part of our family before you leave tonight. So I just want to say thank you so very much for your financial support, but also your emotional support, because every time we have an event or a need, you're always here, you always support us. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And more than ever, we have a significant donor that is dear to us, and she is our friend. She's our benefactor. And as I cry, probably, Virginia B. Andes, we love you. So, very special surprise for you. And I want you to hold on to your hat because we have, and I would love to introduce Linda Weisner. If you would come up, Linda. She is an IBM program director from IT Systems out of Tampa, Florida. And I want her to take the mic, and she has some words from her heart that she wants to share to you, Virginia, from IBM.
Really honored to be here this evening. I'm representing IBM at this wonderful celebration, and it is a celebration of not only this amazing community clinic, but of the generous and caring lady who provided the gift for this facility. When I was asked to speak, I wanted to know more about Virginia, so I did a little snooping. I found out she was one of the first female engineers in IBM, and I believe you were actually the very first senior female engineer in the company. You led the way for many of today's. You led the way for many of today's female executives, and I have to tell you, I am very personally thank you. And from what I've learned, your giving attitude did not start with this gift. I've been told that generosity has been a part of your personal fabric all your life, and I think that's a wonderful legacy. Virginia would definitely be considered one of the superwomen in today's business world. She's been a member of the IBM family since 1942, and though retired, she is still considered to be one of us. It's not every day that someone who contributed very much so to the 50th anniversary celebration is around to help us celebrate our centennial, which we celebrated last June. And this in itself is a wonderful feat. As a small token, I would like to present you with a copy of the IBM Centennial book. It's called Making the World Work Better. Virginia, you most assuredly deserve to be recognized for your personal contributions to making IBM a great company and to making the world work better, but most importantly, for making the world a better place.
And now for our fabulous founders and visionaries. Where would we be today without Dr. Tom Ferrara, if you'll come up? Dr. Mark Asparilla, will you come up? And Dr. David Klein, will you come up, please? It gives me great pleasure to personally introduce Dr. Tom Ferrara.
Thank you very much, Suzanne. Thank you, Virginia, for your generous donation to make the clinic possible. And a special thank you to all of the volunteers. Virginia had it right. Without the volunteers, there wouldn't be anything. I'll very briefly give you a background on how the pharmacy started, which was really a precursor to the clinic. It all began, strangely enough, at Sacred Heart Conference of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul down in Punta Gorda. I was president of the conference back in 1997, and I saw a little ad that talked about free medication, and I knew that some of our clients could use it. We could never afford to do it for them. So I wrote away, and I got a reply from the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers and Research Association. And I had one of our volunteers, I sort of twisted her arm, and she started working with some of our patients, and the manufacturers filled the prescriptions time and time again for these people. It was long-term needs that they had, lifetime needs, but they did it. And then we skip forward to the fall of 1998, and I'm attending a conference out in, I think it was St. Louis that year, a national meeting of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. And I heard during a social somebody talking about a free pharmacy, and it caught my ear. And Baton Rouge had started a free pharmacy back in 1995, so I got a hold of a manual there and I started looking at it. And in February of '99, I decided I'd try to give it a shot. So the work began on trying to formulate how this pharmacy would work. And part of it would be the pharmaceutical manufacturers. I knew that would work. And then based on the Baton Rouge model, free samples from the doctors would be the other element. One of the big breakthroughs towards this came in the fall of '99 when Dr. Mark Asparello, when I approached him, I forget exactly how we met, and he lined up a meeting for me with about 100 doctors. There was a mandatory meeting at St. Joe's Hospital, the old St. Joe's. And I was curious, would the doctors support us with their precious free samples? And when I got through with my short talk, I asked for a show of hands at how many people would part with their free samples, and about 80% of them raised their hand. So I knew that was not going to be a major problem. So then we moved forward and we got applied to the IRS for a 501c3, not-for-profit. In February of 2000, Bill Appel and myself, he was the first pharmacy manager, we drove up to Gainesville where the State Board of Pharmacy was having a formal meeting, and we pleaded our case for a free pharmacy. We didn't know how they would react because there ain't no free pharmacies in Florida. But after about a half an hour, they were very friendly. We walked out and drove home knowing that we had our license. And then came recruitment, training, and May 17th, 2000, the pharmacy opened. And the people came and came and came. And for the first 2 or 3 months, quite frankly, we didn't know what the heck we were doing, but somehow we managed to get through that learning curve. But the doctors of Charlotte County were very, very generous with their free samples. The patient advocates made the long-term obtaining of medication a reality, and Noreen Cheminsky is still heading that up. There are several of the old-timers that I see here tonight that started back in those days. Incidentally, keep in your prayer the one woman back at Sacred Heart Conference who willingly took on that job of doing the pharmaceutical manufacturers. She's very ill right now. She's down about 70 pounds. Up until August, she was still working at the pharmacy as a patient advocate. Her name is Lucy Jones. And what made all of this possible really was the volunteers and what drove us all. And it was a faith-based operation in those days, very much so. And it was the fact that we were helping people in need that resonated with the volunteers, knowing that the people we would need were surrogates for Christ. So I'm glad to see that that kind of thing is actually continuing on in the clinic as we know it today. And Virginia, thank you from the bottom of my heart for continuing on with an even better work.
I'll continue on with the second chapter of the story and how it became a clinic. 2007, Dr. Klein and myself, a lot of doctors seeing a lot of our own patients losing their insurance. There was a downfall in the economy, and a lot of them are losing their insurance. Unemployment rate is sky high, 10-12%. And we've been wondering what to do with the patient that lost their insurance. And one night I couldn't sleep, and 2:30 in the morning I went to the kitchen table, and I have ideas coming in as far as putting in clinics. I don't have any paper, but I have 4 pieces of napkin. And I couldn't find a pen because I was and I was able to find a piece of pencil, and I was able to draw the plan in 4 pieces of napkin. I call it the beginning of the Virginia P. This is 4 napkins and a prayer. And our prayer was answered today. And the plan basically accumulates the experience we had. We had the first FEMA clinic in the nation that after Hurricane Charlie, we put up the FEMA clinic. In those 1,500 trailers down there, we had experience for about 2 years on providing free care on a trailer. So we decided, me and Dr. Klein bounce ideas to one another, and this one stick to the wall. So we decided to put up a pre-clinic incorporating requirements and present it to the board. I talked to Dave Klein in the morning, and he likes the idea, and we presented to the board. And after that, it was history. The board that we have right now is the steering wheel of the Virginia B. Andes Clinic, and basically make everything possible together with the generous contribution for Virginia B. So what we eventually did was what we call community empowerment. At that time, we have to find solutions to our own problem. We couldn't be dependent on our government all the time. The federal level, the state level. We were looking at sending some of the patients down to the state health department, but their budgets being cut. So that's why we came up with the idea of a non-for-profit community empowerment, having all pieces in the community to join together to put up something that is community-owned. And the Virginia B. Andes is community-owned clinic that's available for everybody at no cost. Thank you.
Mark, you truly are my brother, as much as my brother Stephen. You know, people say to me tonight, are you amazed? I'm amazed, but I'm not surprised, because I've seen this community, the way it's responded for the 34 years I've lived here. People say, how do you feel tonight? Humble, blessed, that I should have an opportunity like this, to dream about something like this, and to see all these people turn out tonight, and over the last 35 years that I've lived here, to support this community. There were 9 landfalling hurricanes in 2004, including our favorite, Charles. And FEMA's still amazed how this community responded. And they say, well, how did Charlotte County do this? I go, because we're Charlotte County, and that's what I expect. But it's even more than I ever expected. When Mark and I started, we figured, well, we'll be open a couple of nights a week. We'll do the best we can on the usual model. We'll treat sore throats and sprained ankles. It's turned into way more than that, way more. I've never seen anything quite like it. There is no other model like it in the United States that I know of. And when something is this good and so right, you ought to share. Dr. Steve Shoring, a physician down in Fort Myers, said, do you think we can do this in Lehigh? We have a lot of problems with insurance there. I said, we'll advise you, but it takes great commitment from the community. The Lehigh people have their clinic. They're sitting back there. Would you wave to everybody? Because they're following our model, doing the same thing. Dr. Ray James, who runs the emergency room across the street, lives in Englewood. He said, can you do the same thing out there? Can you help us? I said, you need a committed community. I know Englewood is. They have a community. I know that Beth Harrison is here. Beth, are you still here? Yes, Englewood's here. When something is this right, when something is so good, you have to share. And then the people on the Bell have called us and want advice how to get it started. So we're taking the show on the road. We opened up in 2008, it was August 7th, you know, and I figured, all right, we're going to see a lot of upper respiratory infections. This is just a story to show you how this works. A patient walked in and said, I've had chest pain and a cough for 8 months, and chest pain, and sputum, and weight loss. Now, some of you, this is near to your heart. And I said, well, and then all these doctors started jumping in, and the community started jumping in. A doctor volunteered a CAT scan of the chest, something growing there. Another chest surgeon said, I'll biopsy it. Then the biopsy was read by the pathologist at the hospitals. It doesn't have to be a Hodgkin's. You're going to have cancer, that's a good one to have. And then the oncologist volunteered locally. The treater had no cost. You know, the woman is still alive. What would have happened to her without all of this? This is humanity at its very best, truly doing God's work. Only for a brief second in my life did I dream about being a quarterback or a center fielder. I kind of knew what I was going to do. When you dream about things like this, you don't know how you're going to get to a night like this. And then you meet thousands of people who all push in the same direction. And amazingly, on a warm night in October, it happens. And you meet people like Miss Andes. You say, my God. And that's an interesting name. People say, is it named after the mountain range? I go, well, it's not named after the mountains, but it's certainly a giant of a lady. But really, everybody in this room, you know, in this tent, has saved lives. Maybe not directly, but surely you will save lives. It's a good community. Pride is not always a good thing, but I think, keeping it in perspective, you can all take pride in this community. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's all I can say. Thank you, gentlemen, with all my heart. Thank you. It is my pleasure now to introduce a gentleman that is also dear to my heart, previous past board president, and probably has sat in every officer position on our board, has been very instrumental creating our building committee the last year and a half, and because of Tom Cappiello and his unique voice and heart for making sure that our mission is heard throughout Charlotte County, even in the other counties, we have our building today. Tom Cappiello.
I don't know if you all know me, but I'll just introduce myself. My name is Tom Cappiello. I'm with Morgan Stanley. I'm the money man. And why did they put me last? I'll give you two guesses. The first one doesn't count. As everyone has said, this doesn't happen without people like Virginia. Without Virginia, we wouldn't be here. So thank you, Virginia, from the bottom of my heart. When Dr. Asperilla came up with his idea of doing this on 4 napkins, that's great, but that's not the normal way I do a business plan. And to operate a clinic, we need some funding. And so we were able to get the funding thanks to Virginia. And now, look what it's turned into. We got the money from Virginia, and she got us off the ground. We put that money into a fund at the Charlotte Community Foundation. Some of it. Some of the money we used to get off the ground with the operation. Okay. And that money grew. And then it finally got to the point where we had operated for almost 4 years, and we were out of space. And it became self-evident that we needed more space. So as the person that was responsible in helping get the money from Mrs. Andrews, I decided that we needed now to see what we could do about getting a permanent facility. And I gathered together a group of people who were volunteers, had nothing to do with the clinic up until this point in time. That committee included Saf Valetti, who was a realtor in town, Mary Ann Mice, who's not here tonight, but she's with Charlotte State Bank, Jerry Waxler. If these folks are here, by the way, I wish you'd stand up. Jerry Waxler is our real estate attorney. Bucky McQueen, as everybody knows, is a large developer in town. Joe Shorts, I know he's here. He's a CPA, and we asked for his advice. Greg Bobovich, I know you're here, Greg. He was on the committee, and he helped us finally get the money to purchase the building. Mark Asperilla was on the committee. We all seen Mark. And Executive Director Suzanne Roberts. So that was the group of people that came together. We looked at a lot of things of how do we make a permanent facility. But the tip-off was from actually Commissioner Chris Constance, who has an office right across the street. And he suggested that we purchase the building from Dr. Swing. And Dr. Swing, I think, is here tonight. Where is he? Fred Swing. We ought to give a hand to Fred for giving a sweetheart deal to the clinic. Without Fred's generosity, we wouldn't have been able to purchase this building. But thanks to him, we were able to buy the building, and now we're in the midst of doing the renovations. And Chris Constance, I did thank you, right? Okay. If I missed anybody, Suzanne.
Brian Presley.
Brian Presley. Sorry, Brian, where are you? He was also with the Community Foundation for his babies. Now, let me tell you, getting this to this point was the easy part. The hard part is continuing. And so I'd like to urge everyone here to think about what they can do in terms of finances, because I'm the money man, I'm going to talk money. We operate this clinic today at a minimum bare budget operation of $300,000. If we have 300 people here, if everybody gave $100, that's $30,000. That's 10% of our operating budget. If we had 100 people here that gave $1,000, that's $100,000. That's a third of our operating budget. What I'm saying to you is that we're in need of finishing the renovations. It's another $70,000. And then we're in need of an operating budget. We're trying to find people in the community who will be what we call, what is the term we use? Help me out. Future Fund. These are people that every year make a donation. Pace setters, we call them. So anyway, when you think about all this tonight, think about giving generously, because we need the help. We have a building, but we need money to be able to operate the building. And so far we've been able to find it. With your support, I think we can. Now, I'd like to make a very special introduction to someone who is near and dear to my heart. Wada-san, 我々の町を使っていただきまして本当にありがとうございます。これから皆さんにご挨拶していただけますか。それで私の言ったことを通訳をしてください。お願いします。
I have no idea what he said. Thank you very much, Tom-san. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What an honor to be here. I flew in from Boston just a couple of nights ago. I never dreamed one day, being a patient of Dr. Asperella and Dr. Klein, to have an opportunity to stand here to meet wonderful people of Charlotte County and beyond. This is certainly a symphony orchestra concert right here this evening under the tent. Beautiful sky, and you know how to orchestrate. It's such a beautiful event. And no rain. And, oh my goodness! I would like to hire you all to the Charlotte Symphony Orchestra. Now, Tom mentioned about the importance of financial. I don't know anything about money. I only know yen, not the dollars. But tonight I would like to speak about the dollars. Virginia, you inspire all of us. Thank you so much. And that your inspiration is spread to wide region. And it's our responsibility as a symphony orchestra performers on the stage. You are the players. We don't want to have anybody in the audience sitting and listening. I want you to be the active players. Would you do that for me? Please join me to make the beautiful symphony of this beautiful clinic and leave our legacy forever and ever, putting your name and a message in the bricks. I just did this a while ago. Oh, made me feel so good. And I want you to feel good about that too. So thank you so much for your participation. Let's keep this clinic going. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Francis. And that is going to do it for the program portion of the comments this evening. What I'd like for you all to do is there's a brick table over there, and there's naming rights in here, and you can certainly see me or any of our staff members, our volunteers with the shirts on if you're interested. There's lots of wonderful appetizers and wine and beer and cokes. Please stay. I know we don't have a lot of lighting, but please stay and enjoy yourselves, network, mingle, talk to us, see Mrs. Andes. Thank you so much, and we love you.